5 years in the van, visiting so many places, yet I have still never camped alone in a tent at night. I am always trying to push myself out of my comfort zone and have new experiences, so I decided to drive out into the desert and have my first time solo tent camping during the Christmas storm which hit Southern California. It rained all last night, and the wash comes right past my van because I'm parked in one of the lower spots of this area. But I'm going to be able to set up my tent here later, and we're going to try and sleep in the tent tonight. So, and I mean, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I just woke up a bit ago, fed Walter, and I'm gonna make some coffee, and then I'm gonna go sit on a rock, and then in a bit we're gonna set up our campsite and try and camp this evening. It's raining, so it'll be my first time solo camping, and it'll be my first time camping in the rain. Ooh, that's fun. Let me see if I can show you. So from the back window, you can see right here, there's like this cloud that is coming through the valley, and it's like filling the valley right there. Like, look at this cloud. It's coming in quick. If anyone in the comments knows what kind of cloud this is, leave a comment letting me know. And look at this cloud that's spilling over the top of this mountain. It looks like a waterfall or a river coming over the side. And that is our neighbor who's making all the noise up there. What do you think, Walter? Hey, babes. Yeah. I have clouds coming in from this way, and then we have this coming in from this way. And it's supposed to rain all day, so this might be our only opportunity to set up the tent and try and sleep in it tonight. What do you guys think of my hand-carved wood spoon? A guy at my market makes them. Let's go set them up. I haven't been able to set up this tent recently and have only set it up a few times. Back in May, I went on a 4-day and 3-night backpacking trip through the wilderness in Yosemite, where I was able to use it during my hike. But since then, I haven't had much of an opportunity, so I'm doing my best to try and remember how to go about setting it up. I was really fortunate because this was the calm before the storm coming in, and it started to get really windy, and I'm in a very exposed area where it would have been very difficult to set it up without it trying to fly away. I was also having a lot of difficulty because the stakes were not holding in the ground, and every time I moved the tent, they were pulling up. And of course, like it seems most dogs and cats want to do, they want to walk on whatever is on the ground and whatever you're doing. So I keep trying to tell Walter, no. This tent is the Durston X-Dome 1 Plus, which seems to be a pretty coveted tent because every time he stocks it, it goes on sale for about an hour before it's sold out. And I was really lucky because this is the first tent that I've bought and kept and actually used. I found it by accident back in February after I had returned from Korea. I decided if I was going to be staying and living in the van again, I was going to try and get outdoors more and do more camping. And coincidentally, this tent found me at exactly the same time that I started looking. And of course, we have to test it out to make sure that our head is above our feet. So Walter's never slept in a tent before, to my knowledge. When I adopted him, he supposedly was just running around on the streets. And he has pretty sharp nails. I've been trying to get them cut. Stay, sit down, stay, stay. Okay, you can go in there, go. So because of that, I figured, and because I'm so close to the van, I just put down one of these blankets. So that way we can protect the floor of the tent a little bit better. And then also, I'm not sure where Walter's gonna sleep yet. I have like a little mat for him, and then I'll have a little blanket for him. I don't know if we're gonna sleep together. That's not something we normally do. So this way, there's also a lot more insulation between him and the ground if he ends up sleeping not with me. So funnily, in the van for space, I keep my sleep system inside this pillow, and then I use this pillow every day because living in a van, you have such little space. So here is my sleeping bag. And I have a new pillow on the way because last time I went camping, I did not like my pillow at all. And once again, because we're so close to the van, I think I'm probably going to just use my normal pillow. We'll see. So now let's go do some other stuff and camping tonight. it would obviously be a lot different if I was hiking and all day and then I set up my tent and then I like went to sleep. But I'm just at camp all day. So I'm in the van relaxing. So right now it is raining and the wind is picking up a bit, and I don't really trust my tent ability. There's also some like puddles forming around the tent. I have my ground sheet up, but it really stinks whenever you're in this transition where you don't know exactly what you're doing and you've done a lot of research, but you're not secure in your abilities yet. So I came out here because I was sitting in the van and I saw that like it was starting to get windy, and this ground is very wet and like insecure. So I went and found these rocks and I put them at the foot of the tent, especially this big one, to try and make sure that it's secure. To which I am still questioning my abilities. And then also you could see I have some water that's puddling around the tent. But right now it looks to me like this is one of the better spots. I don't know where else I could have set up that would have been any more secure. Because as you can see, there's a run right here. There's water puddling right there. And then everything else would be a bit uneven. Everything looks dry inside. But no matter what, it's probably best that I'm figuring all of this out now while I'm here and with the van. And then next week when I try and go on my backpacking trip, or in the future when I am farther away in the wilderness. So we'll see what happens. I think with the rocks, everything's a lot more secure. Worst case, well, besides the tent blowing away, worst case scenario is that I take down the poles because I'm too worried and I don't sleep in the tent and I just dismantle it. But I think those rocks will be good. Durston X-Dome 1+ in the wind. I ended up putting my poles on the side to add more support against the wind, right? And then I put my pole on this side as well to stop. It was a lot easier than I thought to actually like scoot the pole underneath and do it. It's on the maximum height setting right now. I will say I'm a bit concerned about that. Some water is pooled between the tent and the ground sheet, and I'm wondering if it would like go through the bottom of the tent. It's only a bit, but I ended up moving the ground sheet more that way, so that way I wouldn't have hopefully any more going between the bottom of the tent and the ground sheet. Big rocks. Tried to make enough space to where it wasn't touching the carbon fiber pole. And we got all of our rain gear on. Guys, I don't know what I'm doing. This is the first time that I've been probably so incredibly clueless in a while for like an activity. I take that back. I went rock climbing recently, and I didn't know anything about that either. But yeah, it's always good to try and challenge ourselves by doing something new. And as long as the tent doesn't break or blow away, I can always just go back in the van and have a nice dry place and warm place to sleep. So as long as the tent doesn't fly away, I think we should be pretty good. As a Floridian living in California, I often miss the rain, so I figured I'd seize my moment while I had a song stuck in my head to dance around in the rain, which is something I enjoy, as you can tell, probably a little bit too much. Funnily, this ended up being almost like an anti-rain dance. Maybe I scared it away with my dance moves, because shortly after this, the rain slowed down and I got really hot, so I went and put on a cuter outfit and continued my dance just in less rain. If anyone is wondering what song was stuck in my head, it's Miss American Pie, just so you can sing along with me. It is 7:33. We are in the tent. Walter is, as you can tell, a bit concerned because this is new for him. Huh? What do you think, baby? I keep trying to remind myself that, like, people go camping in tents all the time, and there's nothing to worry about. Everything's okay. But, still new. I remember whenever I first started living in the van, I always worried that something weird was happening. And I've survived. Nope. Walter, we're not leaving. Come here. Walter. So, we'll see how the night goes. Cross fingers. Please don't forget to subscribe because I was willing to show you how wrecked I looked in the morning. So the little one ended up going back and sleeping in the van alone, but he did a really good job staying by himself. I stayed in the tent when Walter was in the van. Oh look, he recognizes it. He's like, what's in there? I was in there. He just, I ordered a bed for him, like a little mat, and then I ordered like a little itty bitty sleeping bag thing. Maybe that'll be more comfortable for him. So, maybe that'll help. But yeah, we're awake. So I have the wind pole in. I tried to put them in at the beginning of the night, and then they weren't put in the sand well enough, and I didn't have the fly tensioned properly, and because of that, I think, like you can even see over there. Listen, I'm doing my best, guys. I truly don't really know what I'm doing. But anyways, and I didn't want to get out and fix it in the middle of the night. And it wasn't windy when I set up the tent. There are all of my excuses. But, so what was happening is the tent was picking up, as you can see. This was coming out of the ground and they were just flopping around. So at one point I took them out completely, but then the walls were like collapsing in. That's when Walter started to get really anxious. And then I ended up bringing him back inside. So after I brought him back inside, I took down all of the clips so I could reach this back wall. And then I secured this back wall more appropriately into the ground because this ground is really soft, especially with the rain. And then it's been holding up really well since then. So, really happy to have my trekking poles and to figure that out. Funnily, I don't have cell phone service in the van, but I have cell phone service right here in my tent. I was scrolling last night through the Durston Gear forums, and Durston had a suggestion that if you had the fly tightened when you set up the tent, then it would cause the tent to be smaller and less close to the ground, so you should have the fly completely loose. That way it's like has the biggest footprint possible, and then after you stake it out, put the tension on the fly, and that is probably one of the reasons why I've had these issues, but ended up getting it in. Just needed to dig it in there. The rock that I put rubbed and damaged the pole a bit. Look at that. Oops. Just a reminder, I don't know what I'm doing. I just wanted to show you guys how windy it had become. So I put the tent away. And I'll be in the van tonight. It is Christmas, and it's just me and Walter chilling amongst the rocks. It says that it's supposed to rain again. Doesn't look like it. Look at this. Crystal clear. Walter asked for you to please like and subscribe so we can get to 500 subscribers.